Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
What is up guys, G here, back with another video. Hope everyone is doing well. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Fastly. We're up almost 2.2% for the day. We did trade a bit higher at some point during the day, but unfortunately the SPY is being a bit of a bear, so we did come down towards the end of the day. But if you take a look at the average volume, we almost doubled our average volume, so we had 9 million in volume. So I'm actually very excited to take a look at this one because there was some rumors coming out today, and that can actually provide us a good opportunity going into next week. But all that will kind of depend if some of the news does materialize into something else. Now, if there's other stocks that you guys want me to take a look at, definitely put them in the comments below, and if there's enough interest, I will definitely try to make a video for you guys. And actually, while you're down there, go ahead and take a second and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I also did just get a partnership with the Unusual Whales, and they were actually generous enough to give me a discount code for my channel, so definitely take advantage of that. But you can actually create a free account, and then later if you actually decide to upgrade to a paid subscription, you can definitely use that code as well, and hopefully that saves you guys some money. But I have been using them for a while now, and it's actually helping me a lot with some of my trades, so I do recommend you guys check them out. As far as today's video though, we're just going to take a look at the rumors and why this can actually continue going into next week, as well as we'll also take a look at the chart and possibly use some of the Unusual Whales flow to kind of give us an idea of what to expect. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So the rumor that came out today for Fastly is that there was some vague speculation that it could actually be acquired or bought out by Google. They're actually already partners, and we'll kind of get into that in a little bit. So Google actually has been working to improve its CDN, and like I said, they are already partners, so maybe a potential buyout is completely not out of the picture. As you can see, Fastly did rise 3.2% just based off of these rumors, and actually Fastly is a possible short candidate. You can see the short interest is actually 13%. I guess the only downside for Fastly really is their full year physical guidance or revenue estimates. They actually came in below estimates, so I do think Fastly as a standalone company is hard to invest in. But on the other side, that kind of does open the doors for possibly an acquisition, because like Google or Amazon or some of the other bigger companies do have those resources that can actually help this revenue grow and definitely make that acquisition worthwhile. And so I think some of these rumors did click well with some of the investors, and so you can actually see there's a lot of eyes on Fastly today. Alright guys, so shifting over to Fastly's website, you can actually see Fastly is actually already partnered with Google for some time now. This is from 2020 September, and Google Cloud customers can now purchase Fastly. It's going to be the first partner Edge Cloud Solution Content or CDN to be offered in the GCM, so the Google Cloud Marketplace. And this is going to give the developers a modern, flexible platform where they can actually build something fast, innovative, secure, and personalize their own digital experience. And scrolling on down, you can just see they continue to elaborate on Fastly's speed, security, and flexibility, and combining that with Google's marketplace. One of the biggest things here though is that Fastly did achieve a premier partner status, so it's actually one of the highest partnerships level available within the Google Cloud. So they're basically already working as one, and just kind of further digesting that, you can see they did start working together in over 25 locations. So by adding Fastly to the GCM, this actually helps the customers because they can actually purchase Fastly's through the same Google Cloud and basically unify their billing experience. And basically just elaborating on this Google partnership with Fastly, you can see that Google really uses them for a lot. So they combine the power of the Google Cloud, the Google Storage, and all their other services, and they all combine that with Fastly's cloud network. So this is actually a very unique partnership for both of them. And like I said earlier, standalone Fastly probably will have a hard time competing with some of these bigger giants. And like I said, Google and Fastly are basically working as one. And then further elaborating there, they're just talking about how you can actually eliminate having separate bills because that Fastly is actually on the Google Cloud Marketplace. And so all of that kind of just makes Fastly a great acquisition for Google. And so just kind of talking about some of the bigger companies, obviously Google Cloud is on their Google Alphabet, but Fastly actually also has some bigger partners. So I'm not sure if you guys know about Amazon or who they are, but AWS is their web services side of the business, and they also have Microsoft as one of their partnerships. And the last one I want to show you guys is Oracle and Salesforce here. So all these big names are actually partners and a lot of great customers. And so I do think that some of these rumor talks can definitely grow some interest in some of these bigger players, and maybe grow some interest in definitely acquiring Fastly. And so going into next week, any concrete news can definitely affect the stock price for Fastly, and that could even be the start of a couple bidding wars between Amazon, Google, or the other ones that I mentioned below. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. There really wasn't much news. This is just the start of the rumors, like I said, but it's actually very intriguing, and that's why I want to get on this early. So we kind of talked a little bit about the rumors, but now I kind of want to shift over to unusual whales, and you can actually pull up Fastly's profile here and just get a better idea of some of their metrics. And unusual whales does have this technical analysis bar here. I like to manually mark up my charts, but you can definitely take advantage of this. So it does say it's a little bit bearish on the 1 minute, and for the 1 hour it says it's bullish and kind of neutral on the day. But like I said, we'll kind of take a look at the chart later in the video. Just kind of want to point out some of the valuations. So if you see right here, our market cap is 2.18. So that is basically essentially what the company is worth. It's going to be the current stock price times all the available shares. And so essentially if they were going to be bought out, they would be buying those shares plus probably a small premium. So if there was rumors of there to be a buyout, I would expect it to be somewhere above around 2 billion. The other metric I want you guys to take a look at is the price to sales. That's basically the revenue times, or comparing it to the market cap. And so that can give you a better estimate of their valuation. So usually for high growth stock, 6 is not bad. Anything like above 10 does seem to be a little bit rich. The last thing on here is the income statements that I really want to highlight, and that is just some of their last year's revenues. You can see some of the revenues here for the full physical year. It's about 354 million, and actually their entire earnings per share is not very good. They're losing about $2 each year. But yeah, you can definitely take a look at this at unusual whales. Like I said, check out the link there. Now I kind of want to take a look at some of the activity for today's trading day, and we'll kind of gauge an idea of where the stock price, and we'll use just this data that's given us from unusual whales and incorporate it into our technical analysis when we shift over to the chart. So I went ahead and customized the time frame to do the last 30 days for us, just to get an idea of what the price action or inflow has been for Fastly. I also went ahead and adjusted the premium range, so anything under $10,000 will not come through. So all the orders that are going to show in here are only going to be 10,000 or more. And then the last two things that I updated was exclude any deep in the money contracts, and then only include the out the money contracts, as far as only give us like a date to expiration of about 50 days. So just kind of shifting back over to the options flow, you can see we did have some very good bullish and some bearish flows. Overall, I guess the best part to start is you can actually take a look at this just to gauge an idea of how the flow is going. The put to call ratio can be misleading though, because even though there are some calls here, obviously it says 7 to 48 is the delta or the ratio. Some of the call volume for this is actually on the bearish side. So this is something you just need to check and verify with the flow. But one thing you can definitely take a look at is the premium. You can see the premium and the premium for the bearish side, they're about even. I guess throughout the day, the premium for the bullish side and the bearish side is about 50%. So it's kind of hard to gauge. But the one thing I do want to point out is, for example, some of these contracts are within 2 weeks. So there is a lot of interest that's starting to come in. So they are expecting some moves within the next 2 weeks. And so the ones that I'm interested in are the 422s for 20. And you can see, for example, the open interest here was about 300 as of like today. And then you can see that today we had a huge spike in volume compared to the previous days where there was only like 150. So a very huge increase. The next thing would be to just kind of watch this on Monday, and just to make sure that some of these contracts that got open were held overnight, and that will kind of indicate that there is still a lot of interest, and also kind of tell us that they're expecting some big moves in the upside or downside. So that's one contract. The other ones you can basically do the same thing here. But just kind of across the board, even for like the 14s, you can see that there's a huge spike in volumes here. This one not so much. There kind of already was like 1700, but as far as the spike in volume, it did almost 10x from like 400 all the way almost to 6,000. And so again, definitely another reassuring side that there is some expected moves soon, especially since these are expiring within 2 weeks. But I also say that just because some of these calls came in bearish, that doesn't technically mean that they're bearish or that they got sold. So the mechanism or how this works is, if the position here, like for example 200, if it gets filled near the bid side, then they'll label as a bearish. So for example, this $20 call for 2022, it came in at 76, which is closer to the bid side than the ask. So they're going to label it as a bearish flow, and then that's going to go into the bearish premium. So you can't just take this little diagram up here as the Bible. You kind of have to look into some of the action within the flow. And the other thing to note as well would just be that we did close around $18, and most of the interest is going to be around $20 here, and then $17.50. So definitely a lot more activity on the higher strike prices. So I would say that even though this is kind of splitted, I would probably be more bullish on the bull side. But again, we're just going to go ahead and confirm that with some of the chart analysis. All right guys, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video by just taking a look at the chart. And obviously the first thing I like to always look at is the volume. So you can see we had a pretty good day in volume, almost 10 million for the day, and our average is only about 4.2. So that is telling us there is a growing interest in the stock price. And then using the Unusual Whales platform, we also did see a growing interest in the 20s and the 21 strike prices for about 2 weeks out. Now we did have some bearish orders coming in for the 20s and the 21s, but like I said, that is all how you interpret it. The Unusual Whales is just going to label them as bearish if they come in towards the bid side, and then bullish if they come in towards the call side, because they're more eager to get that position open. So those calls could technically still be bullish. It's just going to be flagged as a bearish, and then vice versa. But the main thing is that there is call activity, and so I guess now we're going to see if there is actually a bullish thesis going into the next 2 weeks. And the first thing I'm going to go ahead and note is there is a gap fill right here, and so kind of think of this as a magnet. So as we get closer to this gap fill, it's going to try to gravitate towards that and fill that gap. And so if we can actually break about $18.70 and hold it, so we did try to do that earlier today, but if we can break through, hold it, and confirm that as a support, then our next resistance is really around 21.50. And then after that, we will have a nice volume kick up into filling this gap. I would say all the way back up to about $28. So that is a very good bullish thesis. And also right from there, you can see that there is building a higher lows here. So I do have a nice ascending support here. As long as we hold this ascending support, then I think we can have continuous bullish momentum. So you see we have one here, and then we bounced off there. So kind of bouncing off in this form here. So hopefully we can break 1870, and then I guess we would also need to break 20, since that would be kind of a psychological resistance. So that is something that I'll be looking for. And like I said, definitely keep an eye on the volume. We want to at least stay above the average volume, at least going into the next couple days, to continue this momentum upwards. And so now I kind of want to pivot over to the OBV, which is a more of a leading indicator for volume. And this is actually looking very bullish. Right off the back, you can see similar higher lows here. But more importantly, we did have a very strong resistance, which we can have been working towards against it. We were trying to break it for a couple times, and now we actually claimed it as a support, and we are bouncing off that. So our next target is all the way up here. So there is still a little bit of upside before we do find some more resistance as far as volume goes. So that is the main thing that I see here. Again, we have a nice ascending support on this level as well. So all that was on the daily time frame, guys, with the main goal is going up to the 20s and filling that gap fill up there. But I do want to kind of pivot over to the 1 hour chart, because we do have a range that we've kind of been trading along. So we've been kind of trading around $18.70 and $17. As you can see, there was a nice support there. We did almost break out of it, but we got dragged back in, and it does look like we're kind of working our way back up to break this. Unfortunately, if we don't get through this 1870 this week, then we could be potentially filling a head and shoulders pattern, and that's going to be the shoulder there. Our head is right here, and then potentially the next shoulder right here. And so this is usually a bearish indicator. So definitely watch this ascending support, because if we kind of hold around 1870, don't break it, and then break our descending support, then that would kind of complete a head and shoulders in my opinion. And again, that would be a bearish indicator, and we would be breaking around $17 and could come probably all the way down to about $14.50, possibly even the lows of $13.40. So that is the bullish side, but there is this head and shoulders potential that I see forming. So that is on the 1 hour, so definitely gives us a closer time frame of what's going to happen in the short term. The daily is going to give us a longer picture, but I do want to pivot over to the OBV for the 1 hour chart as well. You can see similar story as far as building those higher lows here, and actually we did break this resistance that we were working against back in April 4th here, and so we're actually trying to claim that as we speak. So I'll be looking into this going into Monday for a bounce, and then we could work our way back up to this level here, which would actually maybe indicate that breakout of 1870. And going back to the daily, I guess the main things to watch going into this week is obviously that gap fill, the potential head and shoulders forming here on a shorter time frame, which was the 1 hour. Definitely keep an eye out on this ascending support, because if we break through that, then things could get bad for us. And obviously keep an eye out on the OBV, both on the 1 hour and the daily as well. So guys, that's about gonna wrap up today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are you guys gonna do with Fastly stock? Is this a potential play going into this week? Obviously the rumors are still very speculative, so definitely take that into consideration as well. So this play can still definitely go both ways. If there is some news that materializes, then this will be very bullish for it, but if there's nothing that really comes out of it, then the volume could kind of die off. So definitely just take that into account. Hope you guys learned something from today's video. Definitely check out the links in the description below, and if you did find value in today's video, take a second to smash the like button for me. It does help out the channel a lot. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you guys in the next video, and as always, keep moving forward.